Welcome back to the Giants, guys. Joining us today is two-time Super Bowl champion, Mr. Lawrence Tynes. Maybe you remember this.
To the Super Bowl. The kick is good, and the Giants are going to the Super Bowl.
Bang. Yep,
Hey.
We're back. We are the Giants, guys. We are the podcast you love to hate. We are here to entertain you for the next hour. You know my guys over here or maybe down there. That's Spiro. That's Jeff. And believe it or not, because I love you people so much, I have brought you a special guest, two-time, not one, two-time Super Bowl champ, who also, by the way, kicked in NFL Europe and the CFL, Mr. Lawrence Tynes.
What's up? Thanks for having
How
me.
are you, my friend?
I'm good. Oh, you got the bio right. I kicked everywhere except the Arena League, so maybe there's still time.
It seems fun over there in Arena League too.
We'll get to what you're doing with retirement later because we could definitely talk about that all day because my man Jeff over here, like a little girl, he started crying. He's like, "What do you mean you got hooked up with Lawrence Tynes? I want to talk to Lawrence Tynes."
Listen, a couple tears doesn't mean I was like full on crying.
That's right.
I was excited.
It's just a kicker.
Yeah, man. Listen, we're fans. We love what you do. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. I'm going to jump right in it. So, again, people, you know me. I'm Craig Santucci. I'm your host and the owner and operator of nygiantsrush.com. You guys have been very faithful to the website. All my guys are up there, you know, writing great content free for you guys, so check it out when you get a chance. So, last week I played taps, right? Okay. And they made fun of me because I played taps because everybody said the world was over. You know, because of the whole Saquon thing.
Ideally,
yeah.
Parted Saquon.
And everybody got a good kick out of it. I had this great Homer Simpson thing for you today, and I'm like, I can't find what I did with it, but it's great. So during the show, if I find it, I'll play it.
Okay.
All right, nitty gritty. Lawrence, yesterday, tough day for everybody, right?
Tough day.
What's it like in the locker room today? You've been there. You've been on roller coasters, ups and downs. Like, does this galvanize the team? Like, are they you know, together? Because they seem like they love Judge.
Yeah, I saw his comments today where he said we basically did nothing good. We couldn't run, we couldn't pass protect, we couldn't catch somebody. So I think he's sending the right message to the guys. But if you're a player, especially a young team with a new staff, and you know, I don't think he knows a lot of people. To be honest with you, you should be looking over your shoulder. You should be renters. You shouldn't own anything. You shouldn't buy anything, especially if you're at the bottom half of the roster right now. To me, you love their effort. Even yesterday, I'm not going to question their effort. They just don't have enough talent right now. Okay. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, there's been a lot of bad drafting over the last few years. And, you know, I threw a tweet out there today comparing Eli's second-year roster or starting offense compared to what Daniel Jones lined up with yesterday.
It's not even close.
I mean, you're talking about 8 Pro Bowlers, 6 of them homegrown and drafted by the Giants. And the 2 Pro Bowlers that Daniel Jones lined up with yesterday were Pro Bowlers years ago on other football teams, right. Devontae Freeman and Golden Tate.
Yep.
So, you know, I always said, we talked about this before we came on, there's a reason why they're struggling. Now, no one saw 36-9. Let's be real. I penciled it in as a game they should have won, but this team is a couple years away, to be honest with you. I mean, I think defensively they're close. I mean, they're playing good football. They're on the goddamn field so long.
And who would have thought that beginning of the season defense would be carrying the offense?
But I like the scheme. I mean, they're kind of throwing some funky looks out there with 2 down linemen and 9 kind of roaming defensive players.
Oh, defensive-wise, yeah.
Defensively.
Yeah.
Offensively, man, the offensive line, for everything they've put, the resources, the money, the draft capital, God dang, they don't get any push.
So that's kind of got, you know, my panties in a bunch a little bit because, like, you know, when this all started, like, you know, these guys have been with me for a while. You know, we talk on, you know, off the show, on the show, off the show. And it's always about like, hey, we loved when Zeitler came here in the trade, right? We loved.
I did too. Yeah.
What's that?
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. We loved the Hernandez pick. We loved the fact that Judge moved Gates from tackle to center. Like, we were like, yeah, everybody was on board. We loved it. I mean, like, through and through. But there is I've played a lot of football in my day. I've watched, listened, and covered a lot of football in my day. I've never seen a unit in my life get zero push in the run game. I mean,
It's
like
zero.
they are at the point where like you're going to say, hey, we're just going to throw the ball 50 times because and Jeff, have we not had this conversation on numerous times that we were in love with these guys?
Oh yeah, several
I
times.
am on paper. On paper, they look great.
Right.
What's crazy to me, and like Lawrence, you tell me if you feel the same way. The last several years, the story has been great effort from the defense, keeping us in games, especially in the first half, and then they're just completely gassed in the second half, and the game winds up getting blown open. Offensive line struggles. Like we've turned over almost everything in the last few years, and it seems like the same exact story. Like, how do you explain that? Like, it's different guys. Everything's different.
I know. There's something going on. I've tried to rack my head too. Like I don't understand it. The only thing I can think about it is there's not a lot of people in that locker room that have experienced winning and know what it takes to win.
And it takes and that actually takes
because we talked about on my
experience.
podcast today, and Paul asked me a question about a ramp from a coach, and I said, Paul, to be honest with you, I played on one team that was 7-9 in 10 years. I played on winning football teams the other 9 seasons.
We would kill for 7-9 right now.
Yeah, I've never been on bad football teams. I mean,
that feels like salt in the wound.
And it is a little bit, but like all of our teams in New York, I mean, when we were, Dave Tollefson, we had him on. When we were 8-8, we felt horrible.
It's been all downhill since you left, Lawrence.
Yeah,
all downhill.
I know.
Come back to us, man.
That whole era, it was like 8-8 was a bad year in New York when I was there. And
it seemed like you guys always started 6-2. It was like, and then we'll see what happens. But it seemed like we were always 6-2. But you were with the Giants from 2007 to 2012. Like, could you have picked a better
golden era right there, man?
Giant,
that was a good trade. Carl Peterson he traded my ass. You know what though? He gave me a choice. So I actually it was New York, Houston, and New Orleans, and I actually picked New York because they were all offering the same thing. And then T-Mac, the special teams coach, he's a really close friend of mine. He was with me in Kansas City, and then he was in New York. He's the reason I went there.
He's the only reason.
Because of familiarity, right? When a coach likes you, you feel like you have an opportunity to make the team. Yep. So he was there. He was the assistant. Now he's the head guy. But he's the reason I went to New York.
Thank God for that guy.
It's gonna take a long time for these guys, to learn how to win. I mean, there's no preseason.
Yeah, going back to what you said, you got these guys don't know how to make a clutch play when the game's on the line. Every time it's like 50-50, the game's going to be made in a positive way or negative way. They can't make the play. They just come up short every time. And I feel like that's because of the youth. And
another thing that's killed them, and it's been this way for a long time, is 3rd and 10. I start biting my fingernails because I'm like –
offensively or defensively?
Defensively.
Both sides.
Defensively.
Both sides.
Offensively, it's like we have no shot. But defensively, they threw up a stat on Sunday. It was like we're number 1 or 2 in the league on first down and then 30th on third. I don't know how you fix that.
No pass rusher.
Well,
the 3rd and 22 was a backbreaker, questionable call, but like that changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Play, it was in the first quarter, I think, when Darnay Holmes, who I think is a good player. I like him a lot.
Oh, boy. That's Jeff's boy right there.
Darnay Holmes?
Big fan of him, yeah.
He's a baller. Yeah, listen, that was a ticky-tack call.
It was.
But
I'm not even sure it was
changed. I think that changed.
It was 5 yards. It was like the 7 yards. I mean, like he was past the 5 yards.
And he just kind of barely put his hands on him, and they called it. But they kind of been emphasizing that rule this year. So, listen, the defense is to me is not a. I shouldn't say it's not an issue. You still need, Xavier McKinney's not out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Ebner coming in this weird dime package, but they've got some dudes over there. And then DeAndre Baker's gone. I mean, there's some injuries over there, but Nate Salter not being available, I think hurts them a little bit. But offensively, they look lost.
Yeah.
They look like 3-yard plays look so difficult.
Yeah.
Everything looks so hard.
Tell us it's going to get better, though. Please tell us. Like the offensive line, does it take time to gel? Because there's 3 new pieces there, a center that's never played the position before.
But you know what, Spiro? Like I sent this tweet out that in 6 minutes the Giants, went 12 plays, and in 6 minutes the Rams had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no sense of urgency. Like Lawrence just said, like it's belaboring. Like that when these guys like have to run 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It really is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, there's really nothing there. Now, I will say, me personally, we've talked about it before, Lawrence, I'm a little bit hard on Garrett because, like, he's got Ingram and he's got Caden Smith. I mean, there's not a lot of rollouts. Listen, what's the number one thing we always talk about? When you can't block, you run screens. Like, where's the screen game? Where's the rollout? So, like, if your hands are that tied, you know, you got to improvise a little bit. And I'm just kind of feeling like we're just, you know, sticking a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah, they've got their hands full. I don't know. Saquon going out hurts. I get it, but it shouldn't change the offense entirely. You know, you miss the runner and you miss the talent that he is, but just play calling to me, like the RPO game was working early.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw him run. He got some great yardage. Then the one he got a call back when Slayton got a holding call, but there was never anything off of that.
Yeah.
So let's run that again and pull it and hit a tight end for a slant or some sort of deep comeback. There was never anything. It was only for Daniel to run. Like, you got to have plays off of that. And then, you know, what was it? 17 yards is what the running backs ended up running for on 10 carries. The other 50 was from Daniel Jones.
Yep.
When you're getting rushed like he is, they don't respect the fucking run.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to rush and pin their ears back, and everyone wants to make a big – would you take – I wrote a number down. Would you take 26 touchdowns, 16 picks? I know the fumbles. I'm not even going to go there. That's the offensive line's fault because he's getting hit like a damn pinata.
Mm-hmm.
So 15 games, 26 touchdowns, 16 picks. Yeah, his record sucks, 3-12, but I'm taking that, and it's something around, 3,600 yards? That's
about Jones last year, right?
I'm just talking about including this season. He hasn't even played a full season yet.
Right.
Yep.
Next week will be his 16th start.
Yep.
And hopefully it's 29 and, you know, the 16 stays the same. But those are really damn good numbers.
Sure they are.
But the surrounding cast, I mean, let's be real. We have a bunch of number 2 and 3 receivers. We don't have a 1.
Mm-hmm.
No.
We don't have a 1.
Even
we
Slayton.
don't have Plaxico. Slayton's good, but
he's a perfect 2 or 3.
yeah, I hype him up. I gas him up on my pod because I like him because he's late. But, like, he's not
Solid
a 1.
player. No.
He's not a 1.
No. If you want to go back to your, your group, there's no Hakeem Nicks, there's no Victor Cruz, there's no Plaxico, guys that just, you know, light it up like a pinball machine.
And think about that. Victor Cruz was like a 2.
Right.
He wasn't a 1.
Yeah.
And then Mario Manningham was a 3. Like, those 2 guys are better than anyone we have, and including Golden Tate. I don't like Golden Tate. I think he's a waste of money. He's kind of this, you know, tough guy. He's overpaid.
Yeah.
He's been on 4 teams. He doesn't do anything for me. I would trade him and try and
He'll be gone next year for sure. I
would trade him this year to someone that needs him.
All right, so
just to
can
get
we
rid of
package him up with Ingram too? Because I don't know if I can do it anymore, man.
Yeah, he's so talented, man. I just wish he could get going.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listen, I'm hard on him. Spiro and Jeff, they give him as much slack as possible. And I know, like, I'm just at that point where I'm like, look, that pitch wasn't great, but you're an NFL football player. My college coach used to tell me, if the ball hits you in the hands, you better catch it.
Yeah.
I'm chump change compared to Evan Ingram, and he can't drop that ball.
It feels like he's thinking too much. He's always thinking and trying to make the big play.
Yeah, I think he gets in his own way sometimes because he's an elite talent. If you see him,
talent.
I love seeing when he has the ball in his hands, which it's fun. It's electric, but they just cannot find creative ways. Do you guys remember this play yesterday? It was late in the game. This 5th string running back came in for the Niners. Do you remember that long hair?
Yeah. You talking about?
I don't know his name, but anyways,
they said they play for. Oh, the guy with the dreads.
Yes, and they're like, this is the 5th string guy who's just on practice squad. The very first play, Shanahan was probably like, man, this kid busts his ass in practice. I'm going to get him the right. They got him the ball in space. It's not that hard to get a kid the ball, especially Ingram. I know he's going to be covered by a good safety or maybe an outside backer, but you can get him the ball. And they make everything too hard.
When was the last time we out-schemed somebody? That's my problem. Between McAdoo, Shermer, and now we got Garrett. I don't remember saying, this we're going to get coached up and we're going to find open receivers all day. We never have open receivers running open. We never have somebody open in space. We never trick anybody. It's
think
tough.
that CJ Board kid needs more shots.
Fair.
I'm telling you.
do?
Why not?
I like him a lot. I think he needs 10 targets a game.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
CJ Board, that's my
why not?
guy.
Well,
He's got speed, and he can go a little bit. And he made a nice catch the other day. Like they need to target him some more.
Well, I'm from that school. Jeff and we've talked about it a couple of times. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If they can't stop it, keep running. Like, I'm a huge rollout, hit the tight end fan. Caden Smith runs a 10-yard drag across, rolls out, hits him. He lumbers down the sideline for another 7 or 8. Run it until it stops.
Yeah.
If you have no offense, run it until it stops. Or like you mentioned, if Daniel runs, what are you gonna do now to keep the defense on their heels? Because they know, hey, we're still coming. Because we know that was like a desperation play for you.
It was just, the thing why this loss stings so much is it's only the 3rd week, and we need to kind of recognize they didn't have an offseason together.
Yep.
But the New York fan base is impatient, and I get it. But if you really think about it, this one hurts so badly because we got beat by 10 to 12 backup players, and it really tells us, it tells John Mara, it tells the fan base, it tells the players how far we are away from being a competitive football team. That's why I think there's so much uproar about this loss, is because we got beat by a bunch of they're second string players. I wasn't going to say
spanked by these second string players. We got
Killed.
spanked.
And it just goes to show you we are a long way away, man.
Yeah.
Years. And you said it before, like we're still years away, but we said that a couple of years ago. And it's like we're in this rebuild where you should start seeing some progress. But it feels like the house
we're closer
might
to
get torn down
blowing
again.
it up again.
Right.
Like, are we feel closer to that?
If they want to go back, I mean, I think the next natural move, right, is Gettleman. And I love Gettleman. I have a lot of respect for him. He's easy to kind of pick on, but he's put together a couple of nice drafts the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen the fruits of the labor, but keep changing coaches. You get COVID, new staff. I mean, it's tough. I'm going to give them a pass until I don't think they have a chance in hell next week, but who knows? But after 5 or 6 weeks, we need to start seeing a trend upward, because you have to understand, nobody knows this outside of football. These guys have not had time together, and they don't know what guys do well in pads. They don't know what guys do well in a certain scheme, and they're trying to figure all that out. So if you really think about it, I thought they would win one of these 3 games, but they haven't. So, but it is a winning business, but they're just not very good right now.
Jeff, first 2 weeks, weren't we in those 2 games?
That's what's equally frustrating. We competed with Pittsburgh, who's a very good team. Yep. Chicago, I had as I projected an optimistic 7-9 for this season, and Chicago was one of those games.
Yeah, I think I did too.
You had to steal that game. They're not a scary elite team, and I know they're 3-0, but I don't think they're going far.
They're the worst 3-0 team in the league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's
Foles is playing now, so they're a different animal with Foles.
Yeah.
So and Spirit, we've talked about it too. If we almost were in game 1 and game 2, how do you fall off a cliff from
2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 giant step back?
That's a huge step back.
Yeah.
How does it happen though? I was saying today, somebody was talking to me on Twitter. I'm like, and Lawrence just kind of alluded to it, that we don't have a number 1 receiver. All I can say though is Shepard moves the chains, right? He makes tough catches. Without him, you're back to Tate, and I'm kind of with Lawrence. I don't really have a big, affiliation to Tate, purely on the fact that you came in and lost 4 games last year for doing PEDs. That already just you're out with me. So
yeah, I agree.
It can't just be Shepard. I mean, how do you we were in 1 or 2 plays Pittsburgh game, 3 maybe 4 plays last week. We fell off a cliff. Somebody help me, because that's the thing. The lines hasn't changed. They're still in trouble. There's no the RPO is really kind of not there in the second half. And as far as the defense, I'm okay with the defense. That squad is going to get better as they go, and McKinney's not even on the field. So how does this offense get better? Because we could point out who didn't do what, but how does it get better? And that's the question is, Lawrence, you just alluded to the trend has to go up, but how? Like, what
They're
do
gonna-
what do they do?
Well, as hard as this is to see as a fan, there's things that they're doing well. Now up front, that's Colombo's issue. But there is something they're doing well on film, and maybe Daniel's not seeing it. Maybe they're not calling it. But there's things they're doing well behind the scenes because they're self-scouting, right? There's people that coach the game, and then there's people on the outside that always self-scout the team. So there's people that are going back and looking, is the left tackle's foot given away that we're passing? There's people within that building that do that. They self-scout because other teams are looking for the same shit, right? Because OC used to tell me every week when he'd watch film, he would look for certain things on a guy that would give away run pass. So he'd know, and that's the things that – so they're going to have to find things that they do well, and it may be a condensed playbook, but –
You see what you just did? You said OC, and now I'm like, oh man. Yeah. I'm like, we all.
Me and OC played in college together.
Really?
Wow, Troy.
Me, OC, and Jarrell Jernigan, 3 dudes from Troy.
Oh, don't tell me about Jarrell Jernigan. He was. I had a man crush on him.
Wasted pick.
I wanted him to explode so
Too
badly,
small.
and they just never used him the right way. I feel like
They never used him. Kevin Gilbride. That was a Jerry Reese draft pick.
Yep.
And I swear to God, Kevin Gilbride did not like him because he wasn't 6'3" and tall and lanky, but his skill set was really good, and he just kind of lost confidence in himself because Gilbride didn't really like him.
In today's NFL, he would be killing it.
But Jarrell's a good dude. But we actually could have had Randall Cobb before him.
Oh, man.
We took Jarrell, and Randall Cobb went later.
And when you
There
think
were kind
about
of
all
the-
that
those are the
talent,
two
like
black guys.
that's why I like we talk about it at nausea, just like the OC talk straight hand, like so you're trying to think about those. I mean, listen, Tolleson was a nonstop motor,
Great role player.
Yeah. So some of these
I think the
guys
D line is there though. I like this D line.
Oh,
Yeah.
listen, the
They got
defense.
pieces there.
Yeah.
There was a guy, Spirit. There's a guy that sent me, so, I'm always going back and forth with these followers that I have like crazy, and I try to give them at least a little education, but some people are so crazy in the things they say. Like the defense has no playmakers. And I'm like, time out. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Blake Martinez, Dexter Lawrence, Bradbury. I mean, like,
Leonard Williams is a
Leonard Williams
baller.
got 2 sacks, and all the haters have been quiet.
Yeah, they have nothing now.
Because he's
Jeff.
got 2 sacks already in 3 games.
That's a
how many
thankless
people-
position.
Jeff, how many people took me to task? I've been on Blake Martinez bandwagon since the signing because I knew once Graham left, Martinez had trouble with that new D coordinator he had in Green Bay. They used him up as like a mop-up guy.
He's Blake Martinez is a baller.
Yes. Right? Jeff,
Yeah,
how
I
many
like him.
people? Dozen?
Oh,
2 dozen?
They hated him. They were like, it's a bad move. He's been as advertised. He's a stud.
He is a stud.
Yeah, dude. I'm all about him. He's
You
great.
got to find a linebacker next to him. That's the
You got
problem.
to find, but like, people didn't, they're not household names, but you guys remember them, but like Barry Cofield and Fred Robbins,
Oh,
yeah.
they don't get a lot of sacks. That's what Williams is. He's not a guy who's supposed to get 7 or 8.
Right.
People are comparing him to the freaking He-Man in L.A., whatever it
Best
is.
sack
Aaron
sack
Donald,
dance
yeah.
of
Aaron
all
Donald,
time.
like there's only one Aaron Donald.
And
like,
there'll never be another one.
Linville Joseph was a great that's who Leonard Williams, but he's getting sacks too. So like that D
Even
line
Dexter
is
Lawrence.
that D line, Dexter
yeah.
Lawrence. That D line is to me, they were shutting it. They ran 35 times for like 95 yards. That's pretty damn good, guys.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But they
I do
can't be
wanna-
on the field for 45 plays in the first half to 12.
True story.
I want to digress to Barry Cofield with the best sack dance
Oh yeah.
of all time.
Don't tase me, bro.
Ah.
Don't
Look.
tase me, bro. And then
baby. Yo,
dude, that
so-
team was so fun. Like Dave Collison had the roundhouse kick from the God what was
Karate Kid,
No, it was from the movie with Patrick Swayze.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Yes.
Dave Collison had that kick
Yep.
roundhouse.
So, but
We had
It doesn't
some-
seem like we haven't had a team that has having fun in a
no,
long
goddamn.
time.
How
Long
could
time.
you though? They
Yeah,
suck.
it's true. When you stack in those
God.
losses, it's hard to have fun.
It's hard to have fun.
And these guys will tell you, I'm always about the pass rush. Like I used to be, the Giants featured writer for Bleacher Report, and then when Turner bought Bleacher Report, we all got pushed out. So I created nygiantsrush.com. The website's named after like the 5-6 most fun guys on the team.
Yeah.
Strahan was doing the balling, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, That's
That
why
was
I
cool.
named it that, because it was like when you have a pass rush, you win Super Bowls. I've been sitting in that stadium since, well, my dad's had season tickets since 1968. I have only missed 6 games since 1984. So I've been at I'm there all the time. You can see all 4 Super Bowls. What do they have in common? Spiro, what did they have? 4.
Defense and pass rush.
Yeah.
So, I think the defense is going to find a lot. You haven't even really got Zimenez to get a lot of snaps. And, I don't know. Fackrell may turn into something. He's got some stuff. I don't know. Golden had a great year last year. Like, the defense has got a lot of potential. It's you can't keep them on the field for 70, 80 snaps.
That's the problem that I've seen in the last couple games. Like the complementary football, they are not playing complementary football. That defense is on the field way too much.
Yeah.
Listen, no one expected Nick Mullins to play like he did, but I mean, listen, he was balling yesterday. And Kyle Shanahan is an elite play caller.
Hold that thought though. He's balling. Wouldn't you, as Graham, and I like Graham, but wouldn't you go out and blitz the snot out of him because he's the backup?
Man, I'm telling you, Kyle Shanahan to me is probably the best play caller in the NFL, and he has his quarterbacks are prepared. And that kid's been there for 3 years. It wasn't like he just got there, so he knows he's been with Kyle since Kyle's took that job, and he has actually won football games for them before.
Yep.
He understands blitz packages, and I don't think you were going to ever confuse him because they do so much offensively that Graham. I don't think he blitzed very much at all.
No.
That's a good point,
reason.
though.
Because they're misdirection, 4 or 5 wide. We could go back to that 4th and 1 call when that 4th and 1 call that we did. Why not spread the field?
God.
Give Daniel a run pass option. We can't run for a yard with 4 down linemen in there. Never mind 6. And we try and sneak Daniel Jones, who we got no push, spread the field. There's just a lot of bad offensive football.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't run. You can't do anything.
That's the difference between San Francisco coaches who are top 3 at the very least in the league and our current staff who, like you said before, though, you got to give them time too. This is
Jason Garrett, I think, can be good. He just has to understand what he has. Listen, 4 weeks of training camp with I think they had 8 padded practices, maybe.
Right.
Man, that's not a lot, to be honest with you.
So that's real.
It's 100% real. But the problem is we as fans, we want to see a product improve. It didn't improve this Sunday, but we have to see something that resembles offensive football coming up because it's going to get bad.
That's a good way to put it.
We have to see something that looks like an offense because it just looks horrible.
What's frustrating? We've had Saquon Barkley, and we can never seem to figure out to get this guy in space. He's always running into a brick wall. He's getting hit as soon as he gets the ball. Then you see Dallas, not so much the most recent game, but Zeke is constantly running downhill. Alvin Kamara, he's not a secret. The guy just went absolutely off last night, and he's always got the ball in space. They know how to get him the ball. Like, steal their playbook. I don't care.
Sean Payton.
What is so hard?
It's play calling, man. It's an art form. It's Andy Reid, Sean Payton, McVay, Shanahan. There's only so many of them.
Yeah.
And it's a gift. It's like you can say still their playbook, but do you have the personnel to pull 3 linemen and get down? There's just a lot of to me, our line is not a mobile line when you think about it. They're more kind of road graders is what kind of
hog mollies, supposedly.
That's what they were supposed to be.
Hog mollies, the kids. But he that's what Dave likes. But if anything, play action offense down the field, they're not play action anything because you can't run the football.
Yeah.
In fact, I was really I don't know if anybody caught it, and if you go back and watch it again, the hardest hit Jones took all day was Gates and Hernandez pinched down, and they looped around that linebacker from the weak side. He came right across Hernandez's face like he was a ghost. Like you didn't even see him, and he blasted Jones. And I was like, when they showed the replay, they show it from Jones's view from behind, and all I kept thinking is, how did he not see him? Because he literally goes right across Hernandez's face, and I'm thinking, if you can't see that, we're in for a long season. When you think about Soybert, when you think about Snead, those guys would peel off all the time. You know, Eli wasn't taking those big hits because those guys can shift and pinch and peel off and grab another guy. We don't seem to have that. It's just not there.
Yeah, I like Colombo's a great coach. I've heard a lot of great things about him. If anyone can fix him, he will. You know, I love Andrew Thomas. I think he's held his own through 3 games. Will Hernandez, it seemed like he had a good rookie year and then has kind of been, you know, toiled in mediocrity since then because we pegged him as a Pro Bowler his first year. The center, you know, I don't know about him. Zeitler, there was some hype. Whatever. The right tackle, I would like to see Matthew Pert get some snaps. I know he had a good camp, and that's camp, but that kid, from everything I've heard in-house, is going to be the right tackle.
He's a big dude.
How much does having a new
New
center?
Yorker, too.
Yeah, right. How much does having a new center that doesn't really know the position affect the other guards? Like, is that a problem? Can you put Pulley in there, who's a vet, who at least knows what he's doing? And would that help?
It just depends on how their offense is built. You know, I don't know what the play calls are, but obviously we had Sean O'Hara, so we were blessed.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Sean made every call. Those guys played a lot of football together too. Let's be real. That's the thing. I mean, that line from 2004 to 2010, 11, you know, changed 1 or 2 guys. That's a lot of football together. So these guys are. It's hard because we want instant satisfaction, but these guys need some time together. But like I said, by week 6 or 7, if we don't see any improvement, it might be time to start, you know, saying this guy sucks for real.
So let's slide up to a little bit of next week. What's it going to look like against the Rams? I mean, that team can fly. Yeah.
Speaking of
you just hope that Goff has a shitty game because he can have them.
Okay.
So I don't know. Listen, maybe he lets the dogs loose. I don't know what Patrick Graham's history is going against McVay. Maybe we could look back on some games. He was in Miami, right, last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then was he in New England?
He's
Green Bay.
Yeah, he was a linebacker coach in New England and stuff like that.
I would check to see, but you know, we got to score. You got to score 30 points to beat the Rams, and we haven't scored 30 points all year. I don't think 30.
Yeah, I'm so worried about.
They had touchdowns in like 12 minutes yesterday. Like, I mean, I was shocked. I was watching one game, got this going over here, and I'm like, score. I'm like, what do you mean score?
I saw Nick Gates' comments today. Said he was so excited to go against one of the best players.
Aaron Donald, yeah.
I said, okay.
I'm very worried about that.
Too.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would, go there.
Excited's not the word I would use.
Yeah,
I would say optimistic.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he may find himself at right tackle real soon.
Oh, dude, he's an absolute man. I mean,
he's a man amongst
run everything away from him.
Yes.
I don't even know if you can. He's everywhere.
Yeah, that defense is not that good. I mean, I'm not saying the Bills are world stoppers, but you know, they hung 35 on them. Of course, it was in Buffalo, but we just need to. Like I said, I don't know, baby steps. Shit.
They got to get out of their own way. I feel like they got to just get out of their one and just stop making stupid mistakes.
I'm cool. I'm cool in the gang with losing. I really am. I get it. But I just want competitive football. Like watching what they did last week. That's what I was saying. Like, I can't figure out what happened week to week.
That took us back to like McAdoo, Shermer. Mm-hmm. That's why it hurt so bad. But the first 2 weeks was better. Like, I know it's hard to say that, but like watching it defensively – they're giving them a chance.
Come on. If you were watching the game, which I'm sure you were, we all were watching the game. Tate doesn't push off that guy in the end zone. You can win that game. Like, that's how close those 2 first games were. Like, Jones is coming down the field, hitting guys on the sideline, stopping the clock, moving the ball. You know, and again.
Well, it brings you back to remember when they came out against Pittsburgh and went tempo offense?
Yep.
And
where'd that go?
Haven't seen it since.
Yeah.
And, he did it again at the end of the Chicago game. So, obviously, this kid is good in tempo. I get that you cannot consistently do that because your linemen will die, and so will your receivers. But you got to mix that in every other drive. Come with some tempo, especially against the Rams. I mean, listen, you don't want that defensive line, get some rotation of fresh players in there.
No.
I wonder if part of it, they know our defense is gassed and they're worried they do a quick 3 and out. Those guys are right back on the field again.
Oh, my God.
That's what, like you said,
bad for that defense this
complimentary
weekend.
Football. They're not – it's not a good match right now.
No, it's horrible.
Lawrence, you like Jones as a QB?
Yep. He's the man.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the rational fans, people who know football or watch enough football, realize he's got all the tools. But if you don't put a line in, the football is always one offensive and defensive lines, right? If you don't have an offensive line, what's a kid gonna do?
It doesn't matter. I mean, he's been sacked like 53 times or something in those 15 starts. It's something absurd.
I compared it to if you remember, you probably played with him, David Carr.
Yep.
Oh God.
David Carr, first round draft pick, goes to Houston and literally gets obliterated. I think
he has. I think someone may have broken it recently, but he had like 72 sacks.
It was in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was,
I felt so
ruined
bad for
him
him
forever.
because I thought he was a good player who just really never got a chance after that because he was really gun shy from getting hit 70, 80 times.
Well, I always said David did all right. He made about $70 million in his career, so David's all right. He got his ass beat, but I would have taken every one of those sacks.
I was going to say, I'd get sacked 73 times.
I would too, because he made a decent amount with us because he was like that veteran backup that you had to have. Carolina paid him a little bit of money for a year when he left. Then he came back to us.
Yeah.
So, but I like David a lot. But, yeah, the sacks, a lot of Daniel Jones's fumbles, I mean, let's go back and look at him. He's getting decleated by 300-pound men that are untouched. So to me, the fumbles are part of the story, but they don't tell the whole story. What are we going to do? Let's hypothetical. We going to draft Trevor Lawrence if we have the first pick? Hell no, we're not.
No. If you were going that way, you would.
I don't even care if we get the number one pick. We are not drafting Trevor Lawrence.
Hands down. You're trading out and collecting picks.
You're going to get a king's ransom for that pick, which will help your football team. God forbid we have the first pick. We're week 3 already talking about the first pick.
That's sad.
But I mean, this thing can get ugly, to be honest, if we're being honest with ourselves, because there's just not enough talent on this football.
Well, if we're being real honest, we have the Rams and then we're at Dallas. We're staring 0-5 right in the face.
Yeah.
Dallas is a much better football team than we are.
All right, then I got to ask this then. Is the lack of talent, we've all been, we do this show, every week. We got the website, Twitter, all this stuff going on, Facebook, all that stuff. And we've all kind of agreed that the drafts are pretty good. So is it just they're not good enough or the free agents aren't good enough? Where does the talent drop off? Because we've all been okay with Gettleman's drafts.
Yeah, they've been fine. But, again, they changed coaching staffs. That's a big deal. There's no continuity on this football team from a X's and O's perspective. This is all new. The terminology's new. Zoom meetings. I mean, football is played in helmets and shoulder pads. It's not played on a Zoom meeting. Mm-hmm. You can talk about it and say, hey, I go here, I go there. You got to actually physically go do it. And a lot of these rookies, the kids that are having to play football, man, the SEC is one thing. The NFL is a whole nother level. It's a completely different animal, speed-wise.
Only 1,800 players, right? It's the most elite job in the world. Only 1,800 players have it. Right. And only 32 kickers in the world. So you want to narrow it down a little more. But no, let's get serious. It's just different. And so, that's why I'm saying it's only been 3 weeks. So it's as much as we want them to win so badly, and we do because it can ruin your day, you have to give them a little bit of time here because it's not fair. The NFL is not fair, but we have to give this 3 weeks. It's 3 games, okay? So, like I said, by midseason, we're going to have to start seeing some trending upwards somewhere. And I think we will. I think the coaching staff is too good. If you think about this staff, there's so many, you got Joe Judge, you got Bielema, who's a former college head coach. Yep. You got Kitchens. Mason Garrett, Kitchens. I mean, there's a lot of good brains and football people on this staff. It's 3 weeks. That's what I'm, we were 3 yards away from being 0-3 guys in 2007.
True. What I'm worried about is
goal line stand.
Who's the A+ talent, or A talent for this matter? I feel like we've had a lot of solid drafts where we have B+ guys to A-, but who's those A+ to A? Who's that guy that's going to be an All-Pro? That's what I'm worried about. I
think Andrew Thomas is.
I agree. And left tackle is a great start. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we also had our fingers crossed with McKinney because he has a world of talent.
Yeah.
Barkley was another guy, but they just need. And for me, it's getting off the field and getting first downs. The 3rd and 10 on both sides. You need that elite pass rusher, and you need an elite separator that can get open. And I thought Ingram was going to be that, but it hasn't really panned out.
Caden Smith sitting on the bench throwing the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he's that Jason Witten type that Garrett's used to throwing to. I don't know that he's ever had a tight end like Ingram to use. You know, a speed guy that can kind of stretch the field. He's always had 6 yards and fall down. Jason Witten,
right?
Man, I don't know.
Where's number 82?
He's still doing it, and he's still doing it.
I would throw the ball to Caden Smith at least 5 times, 6 times a game.
Sure. Yeah, just to kind of keep some. Yeah, I would.
Because every time he catches the ball, it turns into something positive. All right, wait a second. Let's talk about some cool stuff. And I know, like, you know, you probably get tired of talking about this stuff, but for us,
does he though?
I don't know. We'll find out.
You guys know I live in Kansas, right? No one gives 2 shits about it.
All right, wait. Why? Okay, so why Kansas?
Because I'm married to a pretty hot woman that lives here.
that'll make a move.
Yeah, no
exactly.
more.
Yeah,
got it.
No, I met my wife when I was with the Chiefs, so we just moved back here when I was done.
Nice.
Okay, so you don't have like a place at all back in on East Coast at all?
Not unless you're paying my property taxes.
True that.
Hell no.
Okay.
That place is so expensive. I don't know how anyone lives there.
Tell me about
it.
I lived in Bergen County.
Guys.
Nice.
It's called we're the Giants
yes.
guys who pay Jersey taxes.
Yeah, I mean, I have a house.
So
Bergen County was kicking the
brutal.
ball.
Brutal.
Oh,
It sucks. It sucks everywhere. Just saying.
Yeah.
See, I'm down here by Eagles country, and it doesn't make any difference.
Ooh.
Yeah. Boo.
All right, so for all you people out there listening to the Giants guys, in case you don't know, all right. So, Mr. Tynes, the only player in NFL history to have 2 overtime game-winning field goals in the playoffs. Of course, we know Lambeau Field 2007, the walk-off in 2011. Walk me through some of this stuff, because here's the thing. If you watch when you watch the story of the Super Bowl in 2007, right? The whole thing is about how David Tyree dropped every single ball in practice that week, right? And they were like, oh, my God, why are you throwing the ball to Tyree? Makes a helmet catch. History's made. So you got 2 unbelievable kicks here. Is there anything like, your preparation leading up to the game, anything like cool like that? Like, or is it routine for you? Just bang. Because I think of the Tyree story, and they show the tape. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
Yeah,
I was in practice.
Seen it live.
I don't know if you're in the same drill.
The son of a gun could not. We ran that one play where he scored on the little slant at the goal line. I think we ran it 5 or 6 times at practice, and he dropped it 4 times and caught it on the 5th one. Like Coach Coughlin kept saying, run it again, drop, run it again, drop. And there was like this eerie silence at practice because, like, ownerships, like Super Bowl practices are different because, like, your owners are there and,
right.
it's more, there's more people than normal at practice. And it was just kind of like, oh, shit, this guy's right now. So what he did in the Super Bowl is obviously pretty amazing because he scores the touchdown and then the helmet catch. And
of course.
So what are you asking me about those kicks? Like
anything?
Let me set this up for you, Craig.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask him the way it has to be asked here. Green Bay, I can't even imagine what it was like on that field in Green Bay. I was not jealous of you guys while on that field.
No,
but
it sucked.
That game, I think you made 2 field goals earlier, but then 4th quarter, you missed a 43-yarder, which you actually hit pretty well. Yep. I think it just went wide. The 36-yarder was a bit of a boofer. Okay, well, it was a high snap.
That was a Shankville population me. Yeah.
But then 47-yarder, it comes down to Coughlin's decision. And
you're on the field.
Most fans know this. He's already out there. He's already running on the field. Did you even have a thought process? Did you just run out there? Do you even remember? Is it like I blacked out? I don't know what happened. Like,
no, I remember all of it vividly. Like you mentioned the 43-yarder. Like I crushed that ball. I just didn't start it far enough right. And so in the last one, listen, I'll take my blame when it's due, but like that snap was so high. Jeff left his feet. I have to start leaning. I tried to save it as best I could. It looked like shit. I own it. I missed it. But the 47-yarder, when Steve Smith, I think he either dropped the ball on 3rd down. I just, boom, right when that ball hit the ground, I sprinted out there. And my thought process was, I like kicking in the NFL. It's fun. The money's good. And if I don't go make up for those 2 misses, I'm going to get my ass cut. And so That in addition to it's still 3 for 5. It was still the best game of my career. I mean, I can't explain to you how hard it was to even make an extra point. Like the Jeff Fiegels only in pregame, we usually kick about 18 to 20 field goals. We had to stop after 5 because he couldn't catch the ball.
Yeah, and that's
His
kind of
hands
what
were
I
numb.
was. That's what I was like alluding to. Like, what
His
was
hands-
it like leading up to it? Like,
Brutal.
was it that hard?
Terrible. And so
Harry, your hands are freezing.
he could not catch any snaps. So,
Yeah.
and then of course you factor in Jay Alford's our snapper, the D tackle, because our snapper got hurt that year. So there was a lot of
Oh shit!
listen.
That's
There
right.
was
I
all
totally forgot
kinds
about that.
of weird. Zach Diossi did the punts. We didn't even have a snapper that year. Jay Alford, our D tackle, had a sack in the Super Bowl and snapped one of my field goals in the Super Bowl. So like,
Wow.
I mean,
Fun
you don't
fact.
even
Hey,
think about
Fun fact.
That's fun fact for the Giants guys right there. You didn't get that anywhere else. You got it here.
Yeah. And so like think about that. Like usually kicker, punter, snapper are together. They're all 2 hours of practice. I got Jay 10 minutes before practice, and that's it.
Oh man.
And then
That's
I saw him on
absurd.
game. Then I did it 3 days a week. I'd get him 10 minutes, and then I would see him on Sunday, and we do a pregame. So I didn't have a lot of experience with him, and even though I had like I was like 85% that year. But Jay offered stand up to him basically to step in there because he snapped for Robbie Gould at Penn State.
Okay.
But Jeff Fiegels really struggled with him because Jay was left-handed. And the spin coming back, Jeff was 100 at this point, and he had only caught right-handed snappers.
Oh my God, he just called Fiegels 100 years old.
I can do it. So Fiegels struggled for like a week. I was like, God damn, can this old dude catch these balls? And
Oh my God,
and we
killing him.
finally Jay was faster than because you guys field goal snaps have a tempo.
Mhm.
It's not full speed, it's not slow, but there's a perfect rhythm. 3.5 revolutions. You catch it, the laces are already out, you put it down.
Mhm.
That's kind of so Jay was just like rockets.
Iron him in
Jeff-
there. Coming in hot.
And Jeff's eyes were starting to leave him a little bit, so he was like in trouble finding it. And so anyway, we made it work, but man, I love Jay Alford to death. He's a great teammate.
I'm totally getting Fiegels on here.
Good.
Gotta bring
I'm
him
sorry,
back.
but that story's great. That's why I asked you about. Is there anything leading up to these kicks? Because the kicks had enough drama as it is, but it's never just the kick. There's always something.
There's a
before
lot
the
that
kick.
goes in, but I'll definitely take I made that decision for sure. Like Tom Coughlin, I don't think was going to, if I would have been sitting there on the sideline and he looked down, like he saw me on the field, you saw it on those little playback videos. He's like, I saw Lawrence out there and I said, all right, go kick it. Because he had a lot of the coordinators in his head saying, don't kick it, because we're going to give Brett Favre the ball back, at the 37-yard line. So anyway, we made the kick. It was fun. The one in San Francisco had its own little story, right? So we go out there. It's not very long, but it's muddy and wet. And I go out there and my spot is a mud hole.
Ugh.
So we try to move it a little bit. And we only have a little bit of area where we can move to where, if I move it this far, the ball snapped from the hash mark. So if I move it a little bit too far to the right, I'm shortening the block for the guy coming off the edge.
Mhm.
But even by this much could result in this ball being
That's all it
tipped.
takes sometimes is that much.
So we line it up. We find it. Me and Steve just kind of found it was still muddy, but we're like, shit, it's 26 yards, whatever it was. So we'll just go ahead and bang it. Well, we line up and then we get the delay of game. And I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but it's a pretty
was
good
there.
deal. Okay.
I remember it.
Because
Spiro,
that
you went to that game?
Yeah.
that field goal was going to be blocked.
Yeah.
There's on film. I don't know if you can go back and look at it. There was
I'm sure you
somebody
can.
jumped the B or C gap. He was right in front of us. He was going to block it. I wouldn't have made it.
My heart skipped a beat for a second.
So the
there.
delay of game was a blessing
Holy shit!
in disguise. So then we back up 5 yards. We get this little beautiful piece of sod that no one's touched all game, and line up again, timeout. And then it felt like it took forever to kick it, but snap was a little low, a little dicey. Steve, gets it, and Zach Diossi snapped that. That's another cool story. His dad snapped Matt Barr's game-winning field goal at the same
Yep.
upright in
I
the
remember
NFC
that well.
Championship. In the
Yep.
NFC Championship, same upright. Pretty cool.
I got it.
Wow.
So that Super Bowl, I was at my girlfriend's house, and her father used to smoke. When that went through, he stuck a cigarette right in the back of my arm. I'll never forget it. Long as I live.
Jesus. Did he really?
Yeah, because everybody was celebrating. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so that one was cool.
Yeah, he wasn't a Bills fan.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. See that? Look at this. You're listening to the Giants guys with priceless
that's good
priceless
stuff
stories
right
from
there.
Lawrence.
Yeah,
Tynes.
if you guys can find it, I wish I could. Maybe I'll
find
email
it.
Carm. Like that first field goal was going to be blocked.
Oh yeah.
Well, they film everything, so I mean, I'm sure they.
Yeah,
got
but it wasn't part of the TV. Well, maybe you may see it on there, but like this dude literally hurdled our A or B or C gap, and he was right there. It would have been like Chris.
Those are the kind of things that win championships, though, right? Those one play that would have happened.
Yeah, the Ahmad Bradshaw fumble recovery against what's his name in Super Bowl 42,
right. Just
or the Dominic Hickson or R.W. McQuarter's fumble recovery in Lambeau.
Yeah,
plays nobody talks about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dominic Hickson was a ball player, though. By the way, I don't.
Or
he was so
I liked
fast.
him. Yeah.
Poor guy had like 9 knee surgeries.
He ended up, it's funny. I just had lunch a couple weeks ago with John Goff. You remember the linebacker from Vanderbilt?
Yeah, sure do.
Yes, I did.
He tore his ACL like in a walkthrough, like after he came back from an ACL, and then he got it fixed again. Then the Redskins signed him, and he tore one like 2 days before the first game. He had the worst luck. I thought he was going to be.
I was at the game. I'm pretty sure Dominic Hickson makes this. I want to say it was against the Rams for some reason, but he makes this unbelievable catch, bobbling, juggling catch in the end zone, tears his ACL during the catch.
Yep. And then he came back and played 2 or 3 good more years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had bad luck with that, like the 2 tight ends in the Super Bowl, Beckham and Ballard tore their ACLs.
Yep.
Steve Smith. I mean, listen, the Giants have been snake bitten with these young receivers.
Kenny Phillips, that was my man right there. Kenny Phillips.
KP was a baller, but man, Hakeem Nicks. I thought he was the best receiver I ever played. I'm sorry, Plaxico was good. Hakeem Nicks was next level.
I had him.
He has some crazy talent.
My hot take was he was top 5 wide receiver in the league. If he kept on going that trajectory, he had that, man.
He was so damn good. And his feet, he just had those little feet. The little bones in your feet, man.
And big hands.
Yeah. And then you guys get Odell and you trade him.
Whole nother show, Lawrence. A whole nother show.
Yeah,
how about this? Retirement. What's it like? You having fun? I'm sure you're spending a lot of time with your family because I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, either on YouTube or on Twitter, I've seen your boys kicking the snot out of the ball.
Yeah, they both kick. What's cool is I have twins. So one of them likes to punt, one of them likes to kick.
Nice.
And so, if you miss a kick, just blame your brother because he's going to be your holder. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those deals. I haven't put them in football yet. I don't think there's any need. They play baseball, soccer, basketball.
Okay.
So next year they'll go to 9th grade and they'll start. One of them thinks he's going to be a quarterback, linebacker, and kicker, punter. So – we'll see how that works out. I said everybody wants to be a quarterback until they get hit in the chops.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I've been retired 7 years now. So I've been at Wheels Up, a senior vice president at Wheels Up, private jet company. That's my day to day. And I started the podcast with Jake Brown and Paul Schwartz literally this season. I was a guest a couple times, and then they were looking for a co-host and interviewed, and they hired me.
Really nice name, by the way. Just for the record, the Blue Rush and NY Giants Rush.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you put that in Google, like ours does come up before yours. By the way, just sorry.
Maybe we got those big names, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can listen. I'm okay with that. I can.
Yeah, the guests have been good.
Blue Rush.
Tracy Lawrence was an absolute. He's dying for Giants, by the way. He is funny, but you can't talk because he just goes.
Yeah,
you just let him go, and he's funny guy. But the podcast is
Serby too, right?
No, so Serby's kind of he's not a co-host. It's Paul Schwartz, Jake Brown, and me, and then Sarah McCrory is our producer with Jake. Serby will come on from time to time, but literally we just. Like you guys, we had a show last night. We didn't do a guest just because we all wanted to rant about the Giants. And so this week we'll preview the Rams. And then we're going to have OC on.
Nice.
With the OC, killing me.
Yeah, I know. So my contact list is pretty good just from my teammates. So it's pretty easy to get.
I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody from 2007
that's why they
to
hired me.
2012.
Yeah.
That's why the Post hired me so they could get into my contact
exactly,
list.
like,
Because literally
hey, guys,
every guest we've had this year is my contact, including Herb Street, except Tracy Lawrence. So
can you imagine the phone's ringing? He's like, "Oh, trust me, he wouldn't have got a Super Bowl ring without me. He'll take my call."
yeah, that's what I tell him. I just leverage it. Eli doesn't do podcasts. I wanted him to be my first guest, and he
That would have been dope.
and he said, "Look, LT, I will do it when I start doing them." But he goes, he's told everyone in the world no, so I get it. He didn't want to offend anyone.
I think
He's going to be
tweeted
a
at him,
hot
didn't
commodity.
No, I did get him on Twitter though. I was partly responsible for that.
You're behind that?
Me and Sean
It's a good
O'Hara,
move,
yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's
We
got an
him.
incredible sense of humor.
Yeah, that's what I want people to see as he kind of gets over not playing. It takes a little while, especially for him, but his personality is so fun. Like maybe he needs I could see him doing like that CBS desk, pregame. I think
Yeah.
he'd be good there. Maybe replace Sims.
He's just made so much damn money in his life that he could just pick whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't see him coming back to football, but
No.
Eli
Not
may
any
surprise
capacity, not like a GM owner, nothing.
him. Man, I've always thought some weird idea in my head that him, his dad, and Peyton are going to buy the Saints.
Oh,
Wow.
They're New Orleans family.
They
Yep.
are. Yeah.
And it seems like they're tentatively up for sale with Mr. Benson passing away and his wife taking over. But I think that would be cool.
that
Put
would
a
be.
group together to buy the Saints.
Shit,
I don't even think they need a group.
They don't need a group. All the money they got.
They are the group.
I mean,
I was just thinking, like, sometimes you don't want full.
yeah. They could probably add a couple guys, but yeah, for sure they would be majority owners.
Especially, you see Mahomes buying into the, what do you call it? The
Royals.
Royals, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'll be like a thing now.
But they also have like 30 people. I know 20 of them here in town that did that. Like they all just got in for a piece.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
had
the
a good
Royals.
year.
The Royals. Yeah, the Royals. That's my baseball team.
Yeah, man. Well, you are listening to the Giants, guys. We've given you a pretty good smattering of entertainment tonight. So Blue Rush podcast. I could probably get it on every podcast platform. I know you guys, because I've listened to the show. You talk a lot about Apple, but I'm sure I can get it in other
Spotify.
places too, right?
Yep, Stitcher.
Cool.
Yeah, it's on all of them. It's just, we do 2 a week, so we drop on Mondays and Thursdays.
Okay. I mean, I can stream it right from my phone. If you go to even if you go to the Post or anything.
Yep.
If
you just go to the Post, it'll come up on that link. You don't.
I mean, we usually do like 1,000 to 2,000 people a week watch the show. So
cool.
It's like, hey, you know what? Just if you Google it, it comes right up. You tap it on your phone. Next thing you know, you hear the intro and you're off and running. So you can go to Apple, you can go Stitcher, all those places, but it's easy to pull right up your phone too. So check out the Blue Rush. Even though, yes, they come up in Google before me, maybe they'll throw some money my way, and I can get some better SEO myself. Can we have you back? Will you come out and hang out with us?
Sure, yeah.
All right, this is cool. I'm
Awesome.
totally getting Fiegels on here because, I mean, that was great. I mean, like the fact that he called him 100 years old was awesome. How about
I did see Aldrich Rosas signed.
He just signed up. Yeah,
Aldrich Rosas with the Jags.
Don't
Practice
sleep
squad,
on a big
right?
guy.
Fresh out of the jail flip-flops.
When did that happen?
Today.
It just happened today.
That's news.
Practice squad.
He's got that big leg, man. I mean, that'll play anywhere, but
Yeah, it'll play. Graham
inconsistent.
Graham Gano is a huge upgrade.
My God, yes. I love
He's
that
just,
signing.
Plus, he's Scottish like me, so.
You gotta respect it, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, well, thanks for coming on, Lawrence. Guys, you are listening to the Giants, guys. Check out nygiantsrush.com.
Cool.
And, of course, the Blue Rush podcast, the second best podcast out there.
We'll let the voters decide. I don't know.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, listen, I'd be more than glad to say I'm second, third, or fourth compared to these guys. We appreciate them coming on. We're going to wrangle these guys for another time back on the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You're listening to the
come
Giants, guys. We are OUT out.
Thank you, Lawrence Tynes, for joining the program. You can catch his podcast, Blue Rush, everywhere podcasts are available. Make sure you follow all the Giants guys on Twitter. See you next time.